music is what feelings sound like. Follow me on my journey to discover new music, new styles, and new people. Welcome. This is Real Talk, Real Music, here on the LDM radio station.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the LDM radio station, your station for the independent artists, and it is time for Real Talk, Real Music. So we're here today with another winner, a first-time winner, the LDM radio, and we're going to find out if he's had other awards, what he's been doing. But here he is. He is the 7th LDM Music Awards in the jazz category himself, I.Den.T.T. So how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Good.
I cannot believe I won. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, it's crazy. You had two, right? 2 or 3 songs up. Two.
I had 2 songs. Yep.
Two songs.
I had "Take a Breath" under the jazz category,
right,
and "Sick to Work."
Oh yeah, that one's a funny one. That was a funny one.
In the pop category.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that Jay won as well. Jay Sam's awesome, and so totally. I love that song too. So
Jay Sam is going to be up here speaking about his new song too. I think for the next 2 months we have some great artists that either they are award winners or writers and stuff like that. So it's going to be good. But "Sick to Work," that was.
Cool.
It's just like one of those songs that people were like, I don't really care for the other lyrics. It's just that part is so catchy, it stays with you. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those songs that no one knows the lyrics, but they know the chorus. Yeah, and so it's I even use it in some of my comedy. I played some of the songs. Like just play this song if you don't want to go to work. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So since we bring it up, what made you make "Sick to Work"? Like,
"Sick to Work" was a callback to when I was young, and as a queer person, like I didn't have a lot of queer role models back in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I didn't have a lot of people I could connect with and talk with, and so I don't know. I felt like anytime I felt any semblance of love or caring, because maybe I went out and met someone that night, I had to call in sick because I just couldn't imagine letting go of that affirmation, that love, that celebration, And so I called in sick to work a lot.
Yeah, like
today I don't need to do that as much. Yeah.
Like on Mondays, everybody calls in sick to work, especially on Mondays or Fridays. They'll be like, "Oh man, my check came on Thursday. I'm calling in sick to work."
That's right.
It's Friday. I gotta go outside. But it is so funny, when I heard that one song. Say he was sick. I was like, that's a good one. You got to call in. Like.
Yeah, and underneath that, in all my music, it's really about spreading queer joy, right? There's not enough queer representation out there. We're getting better for sure, right?
Right.
RuPaul's Drag Race, we got tons of stuff now, right? But I feel like it's about putting more and more out there because there's so many things that are working against us right now. Our political systems, our schools, our educations, right? So "Sick to Work" was like, hey, you know what? Sometimes you just can't. And as a person of color, I don't know what it's like for you, but as a person of color, sometimes I just can't deal with the oppression that's happening outside my door. I just rather roll back in bed,
Yeah, it happens, and I make sure I got a day that, especially in this kind of business, there's a lot of people like, oh, you really take a day off? Yes, I do. Like, I still dab a little in the computer, and I still answer a couple phone calls, but like maybe 3 phone calls and that's it. Like the 4th person, I'm not answering no more because it's my day, just for me. I learned that a lot because as time went by, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't taking that day. I was working my butt off here and there, and then I realized, like, why? You know what I mean? Especially in a job, if I busting my butt and I make one mistake, you're fired. So why?
We live in New York City, right? The city that never sleeps. And then after the pandemic and everything's virtual and Zoom, it's almost like you have to hustle, right? That's the way of life. Many pop songs and hip-hop songs are about that kind of life. And why do we have to keep hustling? Why don't we get to have a break? Why don't we get to be able to take a day off and just not do anything, right?
Mm-hmm. And like you said, especially after the pandemic, everybody, and in this business, you want to be a step ahead and things like that. But at what cost? Health? then you're in the
Psychological
hospital.
health.
Yeah, you're in the hospital, and then now everybody past you anyway.
Right.
So either you have to find that balance,
Or
you
not
know.
even being able to enjoy what you're doing, right? You should be able
Correct.
to enjoy your work or whatever you're working on and not feel like, oh my gosh, I have to get the next one out. I have to get the next one out. I think Lauryn Hill talks about that, right? Like
Yeah.
her producers were like, you need to crank out the next album. You're hot now. And she's like, no, I need to go live life a little before I write another
Off with
song.
this hotness, yeah.
Right.
A lot of the artists get burnt out because, especially mainstream artists, they want to perform and perform and perform, and then they get burnt out. Now they got a mental block. They can't write no more. Now instead of pushing more up, now they're going down. And then what your manager says, I ain't dealing with this one. Let me go with the next one, the next hot one.
Right. Because the managers are hustling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your manager is going to always hustle. So don't stress it. You know, if you get sick, your manager is not the one that's going to go to your hospital unless he knows that you're going to get better.
Yeah, yeah, and there's an interesting balance between physical sickness, right,
Right.
and mental health, because we don't really, a lot of jobs don't have mental health days, right? We have sick days, but we need to take care of our mental health. Just like we brush our teeth, we need to like floss our brain a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
and that leads us to take a breath.
Yeah, that's why I like, you know, we need to like take that sick to work, and then you enter to a new song to take your breath. They both intertwine in titles. I want to get your information on how they intertwine in song, but in the title it does. You know, you take your sick day. I used to take for the hell of it day. I was like, how many I got? 5? All right, I'm taking 1. You know, or sometimes I even call my boss. Hey, I try not to take a sick day. I'm not gonna come in today. I just don't feel like it. I used to tell the truth. What's wrong? You sick? No, I just don't feel like it. Oh man. So now I need you here because 2 other people called off. This is a true story. The last time that I worked for a company, and I told them, I said, okay, and what that has to do with me? You're the supervisor. It's your business, not mine. I'm a worker. So he was like, oh no. I said, okay, you know what? It's not good to call off. So I'm going to call in sick. I got 5 of them, right? I'm taking 1. Now you can't do nothing about it. So that day is when I realized, I don't think I can work for someone because I'm keep giving them millions and when I'm not healthy and which happened, that same company, I broke my back.
Right.
They were trying to get rid of me as I'm still in the coma. Basically, I can't move, I can't walk. So, you know, I wind up suing them. Thank you, and wind up opening the LDM.
Yeah.
With their money. So, you know,
Wow.
it works. But at the same
It's so
time,
sad that had to happen.
that had
like
to happen.
That.
'Cause
Yeah.
I loved the job. The job was easy. It was a forklift job. You know, I go here, I do 12 hours 3 days a week, and then the next week I do 4 hours. So it was good balance. But I realized, wait, as soon as you get hurt, what is it?
Right. That's
So
what.
that's why this song, when you said sick to work, I was like, yeah.
And that's
me
what a
too.
capitalistic system is about, right? It's not about the workers. It's not about the people. It's not the employees. It's not even about the customers or the consumers. It's about the money at the end. And I feel like we can take a seat back a little, sit down a little bit, take a rest, and just even take a break, you know? Like, and that's, and celebrate love, celebrate connection, see each other. Like, your boss, when you got hurt, should have been like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What can I do? Right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. The workers, and it's so funny because, shout out to my friends, it was in Pennsylvania, and one guy who has friends in the KKK and all this other stuff, and me and him.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a story for another day, but me and him kicked it off. I only knew him for a couple of months working there. He's the one that came after work, working 12 hours, to drive to my house to bring me some cookies, because I love cookies. To bring me some cookies, and he was like, yo, I just came to check up on you, and I'm like, you came to the neighborhood, to a Spanish neighborhood? Like, he was like, wow, I got my shotgun, I'm good. You know, it's like he didn't care, but the boss doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, take a sick day, you know, and if they don't like it, play the song. So, now, you know, take a sick day, and we were just talking about how you need to take your day off, you need to relax. So it brings you to the next song, Take a Breath.
Yeah, so that was actually one of my first releases, and Take a Breath.
Oh, so you did it opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Take a Breath, actually, I released that first, and I wrote it in 2020, at the height of the pandemic and what was happening on the streets, which some people call it the riots. I call it like an uprising, right, of the community. The streets were literally like
battlefields.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember this, but like, remember all that doom scrolling, seeing all the things happening, and then, you know, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, you know, like just so George Floyd, you know what I mean? Like so many people, and those are just 3 names of the many names, right? And so my son, who's dark skinned black, he said to me, dude, I can't go on social media. That's my escape. But on social media, that's all I'm seeing. And I just want to do nothing. I don't want to think about this because it's like re-injuring each time I see it, right? And so I think a lot about people's psychological health. And I said to my son, you know, there is something you can do. You can just take a breath. And he gave me that side eye, like, come on, Dad, whatever. And I was like, no, really, take a breath. So he took a breath. And I said, then take another. And so, by the way, this is a famous breath that people do. It's called the yogic breath, or the 2-to-1 breath. You take one in, and then before you let it out, take another one in to deepen it, and then you let both out. And after he went to bed that night, feeling a little more calm, this song just poured out of me. And I was thinking about how many times are we hustling, and how many times are we watching the news, scrolling, and we feel like there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about our own lives or the various crazy systems that are out there. And I'm thinking, what can we do? Well, we can always take a breath. And then take another. And then just let it out. Like,
you know, it's, I'm a Buddhist, so that's the one thing we always tell some people. What's the first thing that you did when you came out of your mom? You took a breath.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing you need to do is relax. I have this saying that I always tell a lot of people: 2 tears in a bucket and say "F it." You know, but with the correct word. If you put those things together, what I meant by those things is, if you can't do nothing about it, why stress it?
Yeah.
Put those 2 tears away, and then say, "I'm out." And those things come from learning, you know.
And also, when I know from my experience, when I am reacting to something, I'm not my best self. I'm not getting the results I actually want. But when I take that breath, when I bring myself to center, I'm not reacting anymore. I'm responding. And I'm more likely to get more of what I want out of that situation.
Right, and more relaxed tone. Like they say, you know, you have to bring everything down. Even like with couples, I tell them the same thing. If you're going back and forth arguing, take the breath, 2 tears in the bucket, and say F it. Then you find out, why am I upset about it? What's the real reason behind, you know, I didn't do the dishes? You know, what's the real thing? What's the real reason why you pushing for me to do the dishes when I could do it? The day is not done yet. You know, like, what's the real reason? So, you know, like I said, I learned from the hard way of not stressing something because you had to have that fall.
Right.
You know.
And even psychologists would agree that, you know, when we're stressed out, we're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, right? Where our brains are not fully functioning. Our prefrontal cortex, that front part of our brain, isn't doing our good thinking anymore. And so doing that breath allows us to think more carefully. Now, I just want to be clear, one caveat. You can still go back and yell at the person.
Oh, yeah.
But you're choosing to do that versus you're just overreacting that. You know what I mean? Like, you can choose, you know what? I am going to go yell at that person and make a choice to do that versus your brain is making the choice. You know how, like, you get hungry and you get hangry? Right? You don't have to be hangry. You can choose to not go all over the place just because you're hungry. We choose not to eat all the time, right? Especially when we're on a diet or whatever, right? Yeah.
So it's
about choice.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's about choice. It's about you knowing your limitations.
Yeah.
Because I can't, as a person, I can't be out there arguing with someone and then expect to fight, because then I know I am a fighter, you know, professionally. So if I go there and start arguing and want to fight someone, I might hurt them. And what that's going to lead me to somewhere maybe
it doesn't get you what you want,
or maybe it's not going to get me so there's many times people like, I'll punch you in your face. I'll be like, okay, that's nice, and then I walk away.
You can try.
And people be like, wait, did he just walk away? I'm like, yeah, because it happened to me in the train. The guy was like, oh, you need to move out of my way, and I'm like, wow. I said, just tell her you love her. I always confused them that way. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah. And then I walk away. Now I left them all confused. Like, wait, they don't want to argue with you no more because now they're confused. They don't know, like, or sometimes I'd be like, yeah, that dog ran across the street like that. Like, they'd be like, what the? But you escalated everything with just
de-escalate, right?
De-escalate. Sorry, just with some simple thing that sounds funny, but then it sounds weird to them, but they don't know how to handle it. So now they took that breath to like, wait a minute, what just happened? You know, and I'm walking away safe and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there are certain, now it's not going to work all the time. They'll be in the train trying to do that and you still get punched and then you're going to come to me and be like, it didn't work. I heard the interview with I.Den.t.T. It didn't work. But sometimes you just need to walk away, you know, take like you said, take that breath, go home and then call in sick to work.
Right. That breath allows you that moment. Not everything has to happen right in that moment. But
Right.
when we're frustrated, it feels like it has to happen all in that moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, again, this was 2020. This was the height of that. The pandemic. I was scared. My son was scared. And then Black Lives Matter, which has been around before 2020, but it started getting more popular and all the news reports. It was like feeling like we couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything for my son. My son couldn't do anything about his social media. We couldn't do anything about the world. And it was like, you know what? Let's just breathe and be here. We can just be sad together. We can just be frustrated together and just feel those feelings. And a lot of times we're taught we can't feel our feelings.
Yeah.
And I want to say to y'all, just remember your feelings are valid. You don't have to act on it, but your feelings are valid.
Yeah. And even acting is a feeling. You know, it's a feeling of anger. So that's why when people say, "Oh, man can't be having feelings," did he punch you? Yeah. Well, he felt angry. You know, so
Right.
he had a feeling. So everyone has the feeling, you know. And the song came out not when it's supposed to. You know, when you wanted to. It came out when it was supposed to come out,
Right.
and it got, you know, on 2022 when we posting it up there. That's when it got the traction it needed to at that moment.
Yeah.
And that's why I was telling people, there are some songs that people hold on, and then they say, you know what? I'm going to send this out. I'm going to bring this out. You know, I made it in 1800s, but you know, it's 2023, but I'm going to bring it out now. You know
Well,
what
it's
I mean?
a funny story because when I wrote it in 2020, I wrote it on a piece of paper in my head, right, between the two. And I had a little guitar, but I didn't know how to put music together. And it wasn't until the late 2021, beginning of 2022, that I was like, I found a producer, I found a MacBook, I found, was it Logic Pro GarageBand?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, click, click, click. Oh, now I've got a song. Yeah, so that's how it came out in 2022.
Wow, that is so cool, man. You know, like I said, it's a catchy song and everything. So, you know, you're doing other stuff. We got a couple more minutes. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
For being an award winner.
And thank you to
But
my
also-
voters. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say also to the voters that are out there that are listening to these songs that are like, okay, I like this. It's catchy. You know, I'm gonna click on it and, you know, give them a little, it doesn't hurt. You don't like it, you don't click. You like it, you click.
That's right.
It's
That's
not-
right.
it's
you
simple.
scroll and move forward if you don't.
You know what I mean? Go to the next artist.
But
it's not
have
a
you
biggie.
seen what's going on? So Queerphoria Part 2 is
Yes.
now on this year's.
And you're hitting
voting.
number one again.
It showed up last week and it hit number one, and this week
Yeah.
it's number one again. And I'm super excited about that because it's about spreading queer joy.
Yeah. So, you know, again, it's a heck of a thing to be there, especially in the top 10. I think you were in the top 10 for a while last year.
Yeah.
For the last number 7. So hopefully 8 we can keep seeing you on the top 10.
Yeah.
You know, and you're on pop this time, right?
This Queerphoria is under pop if you want to vote on their identity. And you know, part of my writing that song is because there's over hundreds of anti-LGBTQIA plus bills out there right now. Some of them actually became laws. It's kind of scary out there. And I want
a lot of
and then people are saying things. There's so many handies, and I just want to be like, listen, we don't have to listen to that. We can listen to ourselves and spread our own joy. Show your shine and shimmer is one of the lyrics in the song, because we can't let that dim our light, right?
Yep. It's just you know, this is off, not music wise, but check me out on Speak Out. I spoke about this, how they planted people on Black Lives Matter to destroy them.
Right.
They are planning people, and I get into details on who these people are that planted people to bring down the trends and to have the trends arguing with the LGBs. You know what I mean? So now LGB is arguing with the T, and it's getting crazy when they're arguing with each other now, and when they were supposed to be. But listen to that. It's on Speak Out. I'm for one. I'm straight, but I do like. You know,
You're an ally. Yes.
Identity knows. I go out there and I speak to people and I try to understand.
We love our allies. Yes.
So it's it's fun. Do comedy, I do music to them to get them away from the news. Yeah. But music, no matter who it is, who sings, it's good. But you got these 2 songs now that on the records in history.
Yes.
Because even though Sick to Work didn't win, it became a nominee.
Yeah.
So having a nomination for a song means that you had to beat out a whole lot of people just to be up on it. So, because we only do the top 4.
Yes, my fans. I owe it all to my fans, for real.
Yes.
And I do, as you know, there's Euphoria Part 2 that you can vote on now, but there's also a new song coming out. It's about relationships and the differences between them. You know how, like, when you first meet someone, their weirdness, their difference is, like, so cute. It's like, aw.
And then it gets annoying.
Right. Yeah. And so this song is called Be the Cloud. It's about the differences in a relationship. And I wrote this not for public consumption. I wrote this for my partner as a Christmas gift years ago. And he's like, you got to make a song out of it now. So I did. And it's coming out on August 13th.
Oh, wow. I got to definitely listen to that.
And maybe I can submit it to LDM.
Yes. Because it is funny, like you say, because oh, how sweet the way he laughs, and then all of a sudden, like years later, again. Oh my God, damn, this guy's laugh. You still breathing next to me, like,
and it's really talking about like how do we and how do we celebrate those differences, right? Because there was a reason why we were attracted to them in the first place, and maybe I grow because we're different, right? We don't want to all be the same, right? But I kind of forget that. Do you forget that in your relationship?
Yeah,
sometimes you're like,
yeah, sometimes you look and they're like, why? Why did I do that? Like, and then you're like, oh, that's why. Because they wind up doing something that you're like, oh, now that's the reason why.
Right. And their difference actually sometimes can be a strength. But a lot of times we forget that and we're like, oh, not this again.
Yeah, I believe like when some people are like, oh, I gotta find the right person that fits for me. They forget the word fit. Fit is a puzzle.
Right. Love that.
But they always want to be like, oh, I love to watch horror movies. That person needs to watch horror movies. Then you don't want a puzzle.
You want you.
You want you. So then just put a mirror next to you and you're good. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like when you say fit, it has to be that puzzle to fit.
And even a mirror is an opposite of you.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because everything it does the opposite.
Yeah.
So that's why I say like, and plus, do you really want another you? I don't really want another me. You know what I mean?
The world could do it.
Right? Like, I'm sitting there like, can you stop with the jokes? I'm trying to watch this movie. You know what I mean? Like, no, but it's good that, you're doing this. You're performing on the stages now more and more. How does that feel, like, now that you're on stage more?
It's nerve-wracking. I still don't know what I'm doing. I mean, this is all just like a blur for me. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I don't feel like I've got the vocal capacity to really sing yet. I want to sound like Imaj or Hero G. Like I feel like there's so many artists that are so much better at singing, and I'm doing my little YouTube videos to polish that up. But I'm having fun. I can't believe people invite me to places. So like the Sancocho at the end of the Rainbow is happening on August 12th in the Bronx. It's actually on Canal Street here in the Bronx. And then I'll be performing in Syracuse on September 30th. So I don't know how people are saying, hey, yeah, come along. Because I'm thinking, God, my voice still needs to do a little work. But, Charles.
It's the performance-wise
I was trained to be an edutainer.
That's what I'm saying.
And so if you listen to my music, there's all these like portmanteau with these fancy vocabulary words because I'm trying to educate, but I'm doing it through music.
Hey, listen.
And I think people are enjoying that.
A couple people, that's what we miss. Especially, I'm not a hip-hop lover now, but back in the days, they used to use different words, big words. Like LL Cool J would throw a big word in there. People really didn't notice. But they knew what it meant because when he put the word, he'll sing something about that word.
Right.
So the education-wise is there.
Yeah, and hip hop originally grew out of the Bronx, right?
Yes.
Boogie Down, which was really an uprise against the system, and it's been co-opted by white folks. And I'm not talking about the artists; I'm talking about the people that sign the checks, right? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's co-opted by independent artists, independent radio stations are super important to keep our voices going because our voices are really what matters.
Yeah, we what was it? 2 years ago, they were trying to shut it down. Radio stations like myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because not shut us down. What I say shut us down because they were trying to make us as FCC rules. So no, reason why I want to be my own radio station is because I don't want people to give me rules. I'm a rule breaker. I've always been like that. Like you tell me coming at 8, you have to come in. I have to what? Okay, we're gonna see if we're gonna come in at 8. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna tell me what I have to do, because I already know what I'm doing. I guess I was always like that. So I didn't want this radio station to be, let me not let the artist speak about his song, or let me not let the artist be who they want to be. You know what I mean? So I think that's why our station picks up so much, because people are like, wow, I never seen this light in the artist. Like to be comfortable to talk, just to relax. And that's
Charles, you bring up a really good point, and I think that's how I.Den.t.T was born. But
right.
I'm a year and a half old right now, because part of it is I.Den.T.T is something we want to continue to explore. Because and if we keep putting confines on it, social construct of like this is who you are, this is who you should be, that doesn't tell us who we are. It's about digging and finding, right? And the more we find out who we are, like I use they them pronouns, right? So. And we all know how that works, right? Like if I'm like, oh, they went that way, or they left their phone, right? And so by doing that, I think we're allowing ourselves to be more authentically ourselves versus letting those rules tell us who we are. You are a man, you must do this. You're a woman, you must do that. These rules are not real.
See, and I like how you say when using they, that you use the they just to say I identify and I can be myself, versus I feel like I'm a they. No, that doesn't sound right. If you feel like a day, that means you feel like so many people.
No.
You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you saying it's totally different between the way the world is trying to say it.
Right.
The world is trying to say like you have illness. Totally. You have an illness.
Oh my gosh, aren't they saying that? Yes, psychological disorders, all that stuff.
Because of who the heck in the mind think many people?
And in Corporea, in that song, there's a lyric that says it's called identity, not you-denity. So who gets to decide who we are? We do. You get to decide, Charles, how LDM radio is going to go, right? You don't need other people telling you how it's supposed to go.
And I like that. And again, with the voting, we don't decide who votes. You decide. The people out there decides who wins and stuff like that. But I'm glad you guys that are voting out there and listening, voted and listen to the correct music that is going on. This year, we're happy to say that maybe 3-4 other nominees were like, there was someone better.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Versus every other year, be like 5-6. We're like, woo, how you got there? You know what I mean? But this year your song was good, but there was someone better, not for the Jazz. The Jazz, they had it spot on. They had it spot on with all 4 nominees. R&B, spot on. Country, I think one of them, there was someone better. You know what I mean? So, but their song was still good.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it this year. All the songs were good, but there was still that one that could have been better and could have got that vote. And plus, a lot of the categories were so tight. So I think people were just like, you know what? I can't even decide.
And when you say they're better, right? It's a lot of it has to do with the producers. I'm working with Evan and Mason right now. They're fabulous. They're one of the people that's like, what do you want? How do we make your vision happen? And I think that's super important because if an artist gets told what they're going to do, like you as LDM Radio, if you're told the rules, then you don't get to be creative and try new things.
Yeah,
right?
Then you're not gonna have the love. You're like, I'm just doing it because I have to do it.
And love you, Mason.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. What I have to do? Okay, take a breath, blow it out. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna really have that emotion with it, So that is true. I like you mentioned Imaj, Virl G. We have J Sam. So these are the people that for the past, especially J Sam, for the past 2 years have grown in the ability of singing songs where you want to dance to it. Even when I play it outside, people don't know the lyrics, but they still want to dance to it. And he performs. So these are things, and because he's doing it for the love, at the right moment. Because before he said he didn't perform because he didn't feel it. So it takes that right moment. So like you said, once you know yourself, you have that identity of yourself, of what you're going to do, there's no stopping you.
Yeah, and I think that's important for any independent artist, whoever you are. You have to do what's right for you. There is no form. That's what I learned in the last year and a half.
Right.
It's not like do this step and this step. It's an art. All of it is an art. The whole writing the music, promoting it, performing it. You don't have to do any of those bits unless you're feeling like maybe I want to try it.
Yeah, because I met you when you first was on the stage, which was one Apollonia's event.
Goodness.
The first time I seen the nervousness in your face, I was like, "This guy's gonna fall. He's gonna flop. He's gonna like." But you kept it going. You kept it going. You know, you can hear the nervousness and stuff like that. Versus a couple of weeks ago when you did it, you can see that the growth. Like you're more comfortable on the stage. Yeah, you still need to polish here and there, but that comes with experience. That comes with you know, watching yourself or watching others.
And that's what success is, right? It's not giving up. It's keep going, all right? And the more you keep going, the more you fall, you get back up. That leads eventually to success.
Oh yeah, because people were like, "Oh, Charles, you're a great host up there." I was like, "Yeah, you should have seen me when I first started." I was like, "Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go." Keep this going. All right, let's you know. That's how I was like. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to act. I didn't see if people were really. But now I know how to pinpoint who's having fun, and I'll continue with that. Right. And if they're not having fun, change it.
Yeah, it's about connecting with the audience as you're a host. You know, it's funny because you make me think about how when I think about not being good at English or not being good at science or whatever, sometimes I think about someone like Shakespeare or someone like Einstein. They had to go to school at one point. Right, like to remember and humanize these people and not put them up as icons that can't be touched. We're all human, and at one point we were putting on pants and or getting dressed and learning all the skills we need to get to where we end up going.
Yeah, the one thing I tell a lot of people, even for independent artists, business people, everybody, don't get stressed out of what other people are doing, because they can probably be blowing up right now and you're still in the bottom in your mind. Right. But it's not your time.
Right. And also maybe you haven't done what you want to do yet.
Right? And once you push yourself, you're gonna go up there and they're probably falling down and you're going up. Yeah. But I tell everybody, I said, if you ever feel like someone is above you or doing something, close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. That's exactly what they see. Yeah. Everyone sees the same thing, so relax. Do what you have to do when it's your time. Like you said, you wrote it, and then you just like 2022, 2021. How do I put this all together? So
I needed like Imaj or Vero G to be like, hey, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't have someone back then.
Well, that's how, because even on the interviews with them, I told them it's when it's supposed to be, not when you want it to be.
Right.
And that's why a lot of things. You ever had that day like you're like, my God, nothing is working. I'm trying to do this. Why? Because
today's not your day.
Not your day. Why you just didn't take a breath? Take that breath, relax, like he said. It's not your day.
Right.
And that's why things are falling apart, because you're trying to push it when it's not supposed to be. So it happens.
I should give one more shout out just to say that part of the song was also connecting to a group that I'm running, which is Queer Zen Meditation. We meet every Thursdays on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
And so part of Take a Breath was because I was with this group leading these meditations on a regular basis. I think that's what really started the spark of like, you know what, let's put it into a song.
That is so good. But if you don't mind if I ask you, where were you born and raised at?
I was born in Hong Kong, and I came to the United States when I was 2.
2? Oh, okay. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Chester. Rocking the E.
See, now everybody's like, yeah, Charles is always around the Asians. Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, I was always around the Asians. So, but that's good. That's one place I haven't gone yet.
Yeah.
I have to go there. When I'm trying to touch every Asian part. Well, and the Great
countries.
The
countries.
And the Great Wall. And the Great Wall.
Yeah.
And the Great Wall. Like I haven't touched Hong Kong. There's another city in Japan that I forgot the name of it. It's towards the Wood area, where they said it's beautiful when it snows, and in the summer, all the pink flowers is so beautiful,
Yeah.
and they still have
Cherry
the old
blossoms are so nice.
Yeah, they still have the old huts and old ways. So I'm always in love with those things. The Great Wall of China's in my bucket list. Went to China, never go there. Like. I hate when I go to a country or to a city that I know I want to watch something, but I never get to. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
time goes so quick.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I didn't get to see what I really came for.
We'll have to do like an LDM concert tour and
Right.
do a few places
Few.
all over the world, including China.
That's what I'm telling you. We have to go. We have to go. But again, I.Den.T.T, thank you for coming today and lighting it up on the reasons of these songs. So again, ladies and gentlemen, the job is stressing you, but like, listen, I gotta take a breath. So
That doesn't work.
I'm gonna have to call in sick to work today. So you know what I mean? And they get mad and be like, no, now you need to take a breath. But where can they find you at? Like, where's your
So
social
my
media?
Instagram, I'm mostly on Instagram, which
Right.
is I.Den.T. Oh, sorry, it's
I.
I.Den.T.T. I also have a website. It's I.Den.T.T.biz, as in business.
As his
BIZ,
business.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, ladies and gentlemen, he is the 7th LDM Music Award Jazz Winner of the Year. So anything is possible. He thought about it, never did it, and then all of a sudden he made a song, bring it out, and became a winner. So
Yeah.
the sky's the limits, guys. The sky's the limits. But thank you guys for listening to Real Music, Real Talk, Real Music. And we're going to be bringing more artists like this so that we can listen up and listen to the morning shows when they talk about the gossip, who's on top 10s every Friday. And let's see if I.Den.T.T will stay top 10 longer than he did last year.
Yeah.
Let's find
Maybe
out.
they will. Who knows?
We never know. So check you guys out and enjoy more music right here on the LDM radio.
Now listen to this song by today's guest.
Let's begin with a breath. If you come up for something, exactly. So take a breath, then take another.